Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. You haven't had one of those in a while, right?
So I guess it's not daily. We just don't care anymore. No.
We just don't care, right? So we're going to talk about Disney and DEI. And no, they're not adding more DEI. They're hiding their DEI. And they're getting fist bumps from Forbes for basically being really good at hiding the pill in the ice cream, for hiding the DEI now. Mm-hmm. It's a masterclass for CEOs. Here's how you hide it from people, but you still do it. But you hide it. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. We've got more podcasts going into 2026, so make sure to sign up and get notified when those go live. So Disney has come under fire over the last several years, and they've sort of become the poster child for DEI in entertainment. I mean, it's ridiculous, the lengths that they went to not offend people, right? Yeah. And, they had the whole storytellers group and all that stuff, and they were putting the content warnings on the Disney Plus shows, and they were editing them for modern sensibilities, and they were making sure they had the right ratio of people working at the company, and they went all in, especially after 2020, on all this DEI stuff, and they took a massive financial hit. Now, fast forward to 2025, and they're walking a lot of that stuff back, at least publicly. I'm going to be honest, they're doing better at the box office. The last couple movies they've released this year, save for a few, the ones that were kind of playing it down the middle have actually done pretty okay for them.
Yeah, that seems like that's what they're trying to head into going forward, is they're walking back some other stupid choices and changes, like with Marvel and stuff, and they're doubling down on the old stuff. So how are they hiding the DEI when they clearly are making changes?
Yeah, so we're going to look at this article. This is Forbes. They're basically giving, it was a master class in how to handle DEI. Basically, they got busted because it was so ham-fisted and so obvious and so at odds with, I think, their demographic in a lot of cases, that they were, shaming people and all that and inserting agenda into cartoon shows and movies, and parents turned on them. And look, make no mistake, this is purely a financial decision, but I believe 100% the DEI push was a financial decision. I think either financial institutions were putting pressure on them, or you
were getting money if you did it.
Yeah.
Like you were getting tax write-offs, or there was incentive.
Right, they were incentivized to do it, and I think that they were, believing that the zeitgeist of the day was do the DEI, and you're going to get more customers out of that. That was the mindset, was like, oh, okay, all the customers you've had, you're going to keep them, but if you cast a wider net, you're going to get all these other people too. And those other people didn't show up, or if they did, they were in far fewer numbers than the people that chased off with the politics and the DEI stuff. So this is coming from Forbes, how Disney navigated DEI backlash, a masterclass for CEOs. A masterclass. So he said 2025 is going to be remembered as the moment when corporate America's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion faced its most significant test. The phrase DEI became toxic.
It was toxic because it wasn't. Even if you did everything right, the fact that you were using it as a DEI and you were having a department set up as to make sure that you were looking for those things, you were setting up as a toxic environment. If nothing else, anybody who got hired, even based on merit, who were not white, straight, and male, were automatically, scrutinized because of this stupid program, which they wouldn't have been scrutinized before.
DEI declined 98% in corporate communications. They said companies like Mattel, Target, and Walmart wiped DEI-related communications from their websites and stepped back from diversity initiatives.
Well, they were racist.
Except
sexist.
I know, right? But one company has found a smarter way of navigating these pressures. Disney, the entertainment giant, offers a masterclass in how to avoid head-on battles while staying true to their core values.
But here's the thing, why is that core values? Here's what I'm pissed about. And this is what these fuckers don't understand. Sorry, I'm swearing, but it just drives me crazy. People were hired for years that were not white, straight, and male. They were all different kinds of people, and they were hired for jobs based on merit. meritocracy. They were hired because they were a good fit for the job. And then you push DEI. So you hire people that were already good fits for the job, and then now they're scrutinized. Then you hire dumbasses who were never a good fit for the job, but they happen to have tits. Because of that, they're hired, for a job they were never qualified for. And then because their performance is crap, that everybody who was hired legitimately, is going to be questioned. And none of this, you made a huge hornet's nest when you didn't need to do it. All you had to do is just be fair in hiring the whole time. That's it. That's all you had to do.
So they're talking about the Bob Chapek and DeSantis thing being their DEI reckoning. They said conservative activists used Disney as a symbol of woke insanity. Progressive employees and customers demanded stronger stands on social issues. Disney was caught in a vice with no way out.
There was a way out. You just say, you know what, we're hiring based on merit, and we have always had a history of hiring people from all different walks of life, from all different racial backgrounds, orientations, whatever, that are qualified for the job. We just hire the best qualified person. That's all you had to do.
Yeah. So here's Disney's apparent retreat from DEI. In November of 2024, Fox Business reported that Disney removed the words diversity, inclusion, and DEI from its annual business report for the first time since 2019. They got rid of Reimagine Tomorrow, which was very, very controversial because they basically segregated everybody into little groups that were very stereotypical. But even then, the questions that asked you, your entitlement questions were like, have you been raped? And it's like, what the hell? I know, right? Wow, I'm working at Disney. And it's like, what the frick? So it said conservative commenters declared victory. It looked like Disney had joined the other companies retreating from DEI. Yet the story did not end there. The National Center for Public Policy Research was demanding Disney stop participating in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, a benchmark for LGBTQ plus workplace policies. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. It said,
no, they did it. They did it as a shareholder meeting. They said 99% of shareholders rejected the proposal. A lot of people don't even vote. It's voted through you're part of a hedge fund or something. Right. And the hedge fund votes. And Disney sat there and said, no, we don't believe this is a good thing. And then here's even the bigger kicker. You're not going to probably see this happen again because now Disney doesn't have that permission to not put your initiative on the ballot. They could just say, you know what, that's stupid. We don't want to vote on that, and just waive it for no reason. They don't have to give one. But back then they had to put it on there. And they would say, usually followed by, the Disney board recommends you vote no. A lot of people, and when you would get the ballot, if you didn't select things, it would automatically just go with what they wanted. So yeah, of course it went through because people were just probably just submitting it as is. Keep everything the same. Yep. Well, it's not that hard. Yeah. So here's the thing, though. They're saying this is a masterclass. More companies need to hide it. They said what emerged was smart. Disney was reasserting its commitment to core values, not by defending specific terminology, but by focusing on substance over semantics. Disney figured out that the terminology had become a lightning rod, so it shifted its language to belonging and inclusion. Or maybe they just went back to hiring people based on qualifications. That would be nice change, here's what you have to do. You don't have to do any of this shit. It's so simple. You just hire based on merit. Barely an inconvenience. It's just the common sense. And then how racist is your fat ass if you're sitting there thinking that, well, you can't, these people won't get hired unless they force inclusion. Then you're saying that you don't think people that are different are qualified? Is that what you're saying? Because if you say that, you argue that you're making a more istophobic argument by saying there aren't any qualified people unless they get special treatment. And it's like, that's bullshit and that's insulting and it's not even true. So this is Andrew Jones, the principal researcher for the conference board. He said this shift in public disclosure doesn't signal companies are abandoning DEI. Rather, they're selectively reframing commitments. Probably true. Yep, reducing public exposure and embedding oversight more quietly yet firmly into governance and human capital management, HR. I was going to say that's why they got rid of all those people from HR, because they're going to embed it firmly, but that's why they fired a bunch of HR people that were involved in this. Yeah, completely, because they're doing that right. That's exactly what they're doing. They said in October of this year, the company launched its first Global Belonging Week, and they talked about Lilo and Stitch and Encanto, using Disney's own storytelling to illustrate universal themes of acceptance and community. It also includes sessions on inclusion, voluntary participation from employees across continents, and leadership engagement from presidents and senior vice presidents across Disney's business units. The website now prominently says, at Disney, we want everyone to belong and thrive. It purposefully champions a culture where
everyone belongs and can
Well, is that
contribute
true
to our
though?
business.
Because that one lady was suing Disney because she was fired for being Christian. You know, is that true though? Because you say you want everyone to be concluded, but a lot of these programs mean everyone except for people that are conservative. Everyone except for people who are white, straight, male, have to be Christian, whatever. It's everyone but the people you think are problematic. So that's not inclusive. When you all go about inclusion, you're not actually meaning inclusion.
Yeah. So they're saying Disney, though, they said that they're trying to sidestep the culture wars. I'm like, I don't know.
It's going to come for you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just going to come later. Thing is, just go back to hiring people based on merit. There's a lot of people that are diverse people that are still qualified to do the jobs. Like, it's ridiculous to think otherwise.
They said, as 2025 closes and businesses face continued ESG and DEI headwinds, what the fuck is that? Disney's evolution offers a critical lesson. Lie. No.
Basically.
The smart companies don't go to war. They find ways to sustain their values through their actions. I do agree with that. Like, if you actually believe this shit, prove it. Don't say it, right?
Or just, hire based on merit.
Right. Ultimately, Disney didn't abandon its employees or principals. It stopped letting politicians and activists on either side define the terms of engagement. It shifted from defending DEI as an ideology to delivering belonging as a business practice. This matters because the turbulence won't end anytime soon. Any set of ideas that gains mainstream acceptance is going to be attacked. Companies will always be accused of either not doing enough or doing too much or both. There is no safe middle ground in today's polarized environment. Why not?
Today.
Why?
No, that's it right there. Because I was going to say something. Today's polarized environment. Because when you're reading this, I was thinking, oh my gosh, 15 years ago, none of this was an issue. You didn't have to worry about belonging. You didn't have to have clubs that, everybody should be included and belong. But we're going to divide by racial lines, gender politics and stuff for our own clubs where only those people are included. I'm like, that's not belonging. That's not inclusion. That's exclusionary based on, things that you think is okay to exclude by. This was not an issue. Today's polarized environment is key here because years ago, none of this would have been a problem. You automatically assumed that people would do what they could to belong and you would try to include employees. It was just a given.
Yeah.
It was a given. This idiocy, is today's polarized environment is key to this because that is what's going on.
The companies that thrive won't be those who choose sides in the culture wars. They'll be culture war. Oh, I knew my voice. Culture war. They'll be those who stick with the values they hold, which are reflected in their actions. So basically, yeah, don't go to war over it. I mean, there are a lot of companies that, honestly, if they just kept their mouths shut, they would have been fine. But they're
Disney's kept its mouth shut. They wouldn't have lost Reedy Creek.
Yeah, they lost Reedy Creek over it. And they've lost a lot of revenue because how many people boycotted Disney? How many people didn't go to their movies? How many people didn't go to the movies anyway?
These are because they kept trying to push,
DEI
it's not just DEI in the core in our company. We're going to push all that and all the entertainment. And they tried, not just Disney, other companies too. And they tried and everything kept failing. Because it's almost if like a lazy ass, gender swap, relaunch of a movie or show isn't going to work. It's almost if you try to, shove, identity politics or orientations and stuff into all this content for children, it isn't going to work. Oh my God, shocker, I tell you.
So there we go, guys. Disney's still kind of sort of doing DEI, they're not going to tell you about it. And honestly,
they're going back to what it was like before, basically.
Yeah, companies have been this way for decades and nobody really had a problem with it. But when you wear your ideology on your sleeve and you make it a core business practice to talk about every damn good thing you're doing, people get annoyed as hell. Just put your product out there and let people decide based on the product, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you should be doing. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.